Howdy ho, you handsome hunk. Grab a snack and gain some chunk. If your day is great or really sunk, we hope to help you shake the funk. So if you're good to hear some junk, buckle up, it's the Junk Monk Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Junk Monk Podcast. I'm your host Kandyce Sloan, who you know from Instagram at Hardens and Hard Hats.
And I'm Noah, your co-host, who you know from Right Now.
And I'm Q, your special guest host for this episode.
If this is your first time listening, let us fill you in. We are watching and reviewing every episode of the USA hit TV show Monk right here each week.
And we're going to do so while eating a little bit of junk. So, instead of actual junk food, today we are getting brownies delivered to us.
Yes, so I cannot wait for that. Also, you must know I have seen every episode of Monk. I'm a huge fan. Started watching in about 2007 and for the most part watched it as it aired.
I've seen the pilot episode and those we've done on the show, and a few scattered here and there in different seasons.
I'm a newbie to the Monk show, and the first episode was season 5, episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're ready to start the show, Toby, take it away.
Here's what happened. Alright, this is Season 5, Episode 4, Mr. Monk Can't See a Thing. Okay, here's what happened. In the opening scene, we see Mr. Monk getting his yearly smoke detectors test at the San Francisco Fire Department. When the crew leaves for a call, Monk and an elderly fireman, Rusty, are left to do the testing. While they're working, an unknown man sneaks in the station, and when Rusty tries to stop him, he is killed. Monk intervenes and is blinded by the assailant with burning acid. Monk must now solve the crime of who killed Rusty while he's completely blind. But he manages to find the first clue of a missing fireman's jacket. When they find the jacket that has been tossed just a few hours later, they wonder why, kill for a jacket, then throw it away. Monk also discovers that the fire has called the crew away during the attack of a murdered woman, Stephanie Preston. And he assumes that the suspect stole the jacket to enter the house as a firefighter to retrieve something he had forgotten inside. He, of course, is right and puts more together as he visits her workplace and recognizes the assailant by his squeaky shoes. The culprit, Eddie Murdoch, apparently slips at the construction site while trying to get away and the case is closed. But when Monk can't put together why Murdoch would have killed Stephanie, he discovers the last piece, the car keys. Murdoch did the killing for his boss, Peter Breen, who had been having an affair with Stephanie and had loaned him the keys to her house. That was the item he went back into the fire to get. The captain and Monk go to the morgue to retrieve the keys, but Peter Breen was already there and a fight ensues. Monk regains his eyesight just in time to fire a shot in Breen's chest, and the case is closed for good.
All right, so that was Mr. Monk Can't See a Thing.
All right, Kandyce, what did you like about this episode?
Okay, there was a lot of Randy action in this one.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly a kind of serious, somber episode, but I did like the Randy action. He kind of has the same joke that follows throughout, and I thought it was funny, where when Monk first goes blind, they're in the doctor's office, and Randy, he's standing in front of him and says, "All right, this is Randy Disher. I'm talking to you, and now I'm standing in front of you," and then he squats, and now I'm squatting, and I want you to know that I'm going to work on this case 24/7 until I find who did this. Except for May 11th. I have to go to a wedding. Actually, I'm going to do that day off. Can you? And so, yeah, that was the beginning of that little joke. So I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. Q, what did you like about this episode?
You know what? I am a newbie to the show, and I don't know much of the background of the characters. But one thing I did appreciate was the mustache chief gentleman.
Stottlemyre?
That's Captain Stottlemyre.
Oh, Captain Stottlemyre. I like that he was always trying to help Monk throughout the episode. Mm-hmm. I really appreciate that.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I like the scene where Natalie is talking to Stottlemyre, and Stottlemyre walks in, and Natalie's saying, like, "Oh, he's great," and just thumbs down all the way.
Yeah. He's doing really good. The doctors are really optimistic. Okay, so some more of Randy, right? We see him again, and he's like, "Okay, so this is Randy Disher. I'm speaking to you." And Captain Stottlemyre's like, "Randy, he knows who you are, and he knows that you're speaking to him. You don't have to say that." And he's like, "Okay, so you know who I am, and you know I'm speaking to you." And then later, we see him again, and then he says, just cuts it down and says, "Randy Disher speaking. I am pulling out my notebook. Wait, I can't find my notebook. Captain, I can't find my notebook. Yeah, those were all really good.
I'm checking my pockets.
Yeah, I'm checking my pockets. And then the very last one, there's another one where he just spells it out for you and says, okay, Disher, opening file. Oh, I think that's my last little Randy thing, so.
Okay.
So another item that I liked was the scene where he was at the dumpster. And it looked like, I'm not sure how it is in other episodes, but, I think all of us has a little OCD in them. I definitely do. And I appreciate that he felt relaxed. And I can relate to that. And so I'm not sure, I imagine that previous episodes, he doesn't get those opportunities often.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really great moment.
Yeah.
That's actually true. He's very constantly at a heightened state all the time, which, again, the premise, if you don't, catch that part, his OCD helps him solve the cases. So this, like, uneasiness that he always has, he has that need and want to restore order, and that's how he ends up solving the cases. So he still does find the clues whenever he's blind, obviously, but it's still, like, you can see everything's running through his mind all the time. When he, like, remembers the key, like, oh, I heard the keys jingling, and connects that with the horse and the thing on the coffee table. And so, his mind's always running, but like you said, it's almost like he gets even a little bit more of a clear head when he's able to, like, just knock out all those distractions that usually do distract him when he's at a crime scene, right? Because we've seen, like, he goes to the junkyard and he shows up and he's like, Captain, you said this was an electronics store. And he's like, yeah, but if I said junkyard, you wouldn't have come. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's a really good point.
I really liked how Stottlemyre is really, like, caring for Monk this episode, and he's really passionate about finding the guy. It's also the fireman who was his friend for a very long time, and Stottlemyre is, like, he's like, I will find this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's Monk this time, so it's like you said, Rusty too, but even Disher steps up, and, besides the May 11th joke, he's dead serious that he will do anything and won't stop until he finds who did it. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure that... I think maybe we've had one other case before where Stottlemyre was hurt and they all kind of rallied together, but I don't think we've ever had where something happened to Monk before, so it's actually kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. I like, of course, Happy Monk. That's much better than Sad Monk. When he figures out he's operating at or just below Magoo level. That's really funny. And then he tells Dr. Kroger, you know what, you could be naked right now, and I wouldn't even know. He's like, yeah, but I'm not naked. He's like, but you could be. And again, like you were saying, he's just at ease. Even when he's in his therapist session, when he's the most vulnerable or the most sad, that, he shows so much joy in those moments, so...
Yeah.
Another item I like, this is very small, but I like watching something that felt very realistic. The scarring on his face. It's a small item, but it made me really believe that he actually had damage during that time. It wasn't just something kind of fake, and it lasted pretty much throughout the show. So I kind of respected that from the makeup artist.
Yeah. I noticed that too, the makeup. Which I did have it a little bit on my dislikes.
Yeah,
but...
he looks too...
Yeah, his eyes were bloodshot. I felt like
Yeah,
it was
my
very
first
realistic.
one, Monk looks creepy.
Mine too. Sneak peek, Monk looks scary. Yeah, like you said, the makeup was great. The way that whatever they did to his eyes, I guess maybe they just put contacts in that were like bigger than his pupils. And that was super, like, realistic. And then they, like you said, they kept it for most of the show. And until, like, the very end, I guess, I did notice, that they used the glasses. They kind of used those big glasses to cover up the thing. And then, so whenever he took those off, it was, like, kind of revealed, like, oh, his scars have healed. So, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Monk still touches the lamps in the...
Oh my gosh, that was so sad.
Because that's a thing, like, every episode he, like, touches the lamps around him and, like, touches, like,
he touches
light posts, right? And it's just, like, a little thing that he does, and he still touches them in the captain's... or in the
and then poor Tim, that was kind of sad.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I missed it, I'm sorry. I like when Monk forgot about his amazing memory. I thought that was just a cute little, like, throwaway line. She's like, come on, you can do this. You have an amazing memory. And he's like, oh, yeah, I forgot about my amazing memory. That was really cute. I think I have one more thing. How are you guys doing?
I have, like, 3 more.
3 more? Okay.
Wow. I only have one more.
Okay.
But it's also on my dislikes. is I'm new to the show, and I apologize. I like and I dislike Randy.
Yeah, that's a mutual thing.
Is that mutual? The reason why I like him is because he's another advocate for Monk on the police force. Yeah. I really appreciate that. You know, it wasn't just the captain, also sidekick Randy was there helping him along. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I feel like Randy, especially if you are coming in off of it, I felt like in this episode, Randy does come on really strong. Like how I pointed out all of his jokes, and you're like, okay, he's the butt of the joke. I get it. But if you start from the beginning and you're like, I love Randy, then those things are endearing and not so like, oh gosh, they're forcing it. It's like, no, that is Randy. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that is his character. And I will preface with saying like, in the very beginning, Randy and Stottlemyre are against Monk.
Yeah.
So they become friends and form this relationship.
So now it's nice to see this episode where Stottlemyre is really fighting
exactly.
for Monk.
And so Randy wasn't as funny. He was a kiss up to Stottlemyre. And so to see him making these types of jokes and stuff is actually a lot better than before because you actually didn't like him. And you weren't supposed to like him. Yeah. So, yeah. They kind of changed his character. So, I definitely appreciate you saying that from, like, oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I really like when Monk is at the fire department re-examining things. And he's like, deliberately trying to bump into things. And everyone's, like, pushing him out of the way, just pushing him around. That is so funny to me.
That was cute. I felt like a lot of the blind stuff was good, but it just had like a little bit of sad undertone. So you're like, oh, like you almost didn't know if you were supposed to think it was funny, but it was, I don't know.
Like when he's talking to that pole instead of Natalie.
I did like that because I felt like that was one of the more realistic things because you can feel something in front of you. So, or the other ones where he kind of just pointing at the air. Like, but in that instance, when that pole is that close to him, he feels it being there and he thinks it's her because she was just standing there. And then so when he's done, he's like, what? And he touches it because he thought that was her body. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I liked that one actually.
Yeah.
So my last thing is, I love that, not the very last scene because that was really sweet, but the main climax of the episode when he shoots the guy and he starts getting his eyesight back. That's like, it's super suspenseful because the captain is knocked out. He's the only one that can see. And then the guy thinks that Monk can't see. And then he has the gun. And so he's tricking him with making all the noises with the stick. And Monk is kind of falling for it. But then in the end, he gets his sight, sees his chest and is like, pah. And you're like, yes, he did it. Ugh.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like I'm the only one left, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So speed round right here. I really liked when the lady from the school from the blind came and they had the compassionate, like, to see what they were going through.
Yes.
And they're racing to it. It's so funny.
It's not a race. Yeah, but if it was. And I do love that scene. I didn't write that down. Stottlemyre is so cool. Mm-hmm. Like, he's just walking through and he feels somebody's shoulder and pats him and he's like, it's an empathy exercise. And he knows where he's going. And then Randy's all scattered, so he hits him in the shoulder and he gets disoriented. And then they're both like, whoa, wait. He's cheating. How do you know he's cheating? I'm cheating if you're not cheating. So, yeah, it was really funny.
Yeah, I also love how Monk boasts that he's never felt a drifter's face. Yeah. He's like, even at the lowest of lows in my life, I think to myself, at least I've never felt a drifter's face.
I want to say that's actually one of the more, like, iconic lines, if believe it or not. Like, people like to quote that one. Like, oh, at least I've never felt a drifter's face. Because it's like something you tell yourself when things are down. Like, yeah, but at least I've never touched a drifter's face.
I like Monk challenging everyone to the most miserable man.
Oh, that's so good. How did I not write these things down? Oh my gosh, that was so good. That is so good.
Also, the Monk answering machine is just amazing.
Yeah, that's classic.
When Natalie is trying to cheer up Monk, she's like, Mr. Monk, there's hope. And he goes, I hate hope's guts.
That is cute.
Oh, what is this?
Oh, are you flying?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Are you flying because... Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
the
Bug goes into an elevator that doesn't work, so he's staying stationary, but it's kind of shaking, so he thinks he's going up. So as soon as he gets out of the elevator, he can tell he's on a beam. And so he, like, points his stick around and he can't feel anything other than the beam. And then he starts, like, hyperventilating. And he's like, oh my gosh. And he starts screaming.
He drops the stick.
He drops his
Heads
stick. He looks down. He's, like, yelling. And he's like, help, help, help. And then Natalie's like, oh my gosh. And goes to, like, pick him up from off of that. And he's like, Natalie, are you flying?
I love that. I thought that was really cute.
All right, that's all I have.
Okay. Yeah, I really did. I can't believe you had a lot of good ones. I can't believe I didn't write those down.
Yeah.
When he's in the argument with the guy and they're like, I don't even remember what it leads to, but he's like, my wife's dead. And he's like, mine too. Car bomb. Pneumonia.
And he's like, Natalie, car bomb or pneumonia?
Mr. Monk, I don't want to answer that. I don't know. He's like, car bomb. It's definitely car bomb. Like, and then what makes him end it? Because he's like, I won. See, I'm the winner. And he's like, come on, bring it on. And Stottlemyre walks by him and he's like, you want to go? It's so funny. I don't remember what they say though, but it's too much. That's such a good exchange.
Dislikes? What did we all dislike about this episode? Q looks fired up.
I'm fired. Okay, so when I watch a show, I look at the characters, and it broke my heart. I want Natalie and Monk to end together in season 8. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I watch these type of shows like what is it, CSI, and there's a female cop and a male cop. They're not together, but there's these slight moments. I don't know what's going to happen with them, but I want them to somehow get a relationship going.
Yeah.
So I felt unease, like, why are they not, holding hands?
Oh, yeah, like 2 seconds in,
Yeah.
Q was like, they're not dating? I'm like, no, that's his assistant. Like, they're not dating. And I'm trying to watch it from a different lens and being like, do they look like they're dating? I mean, I guess she looks like she really cares for him.
She cares for him.
But she calls him Mr. Monk. So
Out of respect, right? But
he doesn't like whatever.
It's like a Princess Bride where he always says, "As you wish," Watch the movie.
But you would never call your significant other that. Like, I'm just saying that would be a clue that they weren't dating.
No, right? But I can imagine a beautiful episode one day
feel like
he goes, "Don't call me Mr. Monk," and then leads to a more romantic relationship.
Okay, I feel like that's a very newbie perspective. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
Like, that's one of the things that you might just like immediately pick up. Like, they're close. That they gotta be together.
Yeah.
That's true. However, when because I'm a part of the Monk Facebook groups and stuff, I kind of dig deep into not necessarily fan theories, but there's just so many people who are like, they need to be together. They need to be together. And I'm like, I love them together. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, really? Like, people who actually like watch the show, they ship them. They want them to be together. So I just think that's really interesting that, like you said, it does sound like a newbie thing, but there apparently are a lot of people who want them to be together.
Absolutely.
And they're
I mean, think of Jim and Pam in The Office.
Our brownies are here.
brownies. Oh my gosh.
Wow, our
Our
job.
junk
Magical.
is here. Okay, let's see.
Okay, we each get a brownie.
Milk?
Milk.
We're gonna be thirsty now.
Or a
Milk.
water bottle?
3 milks, please.
Oh,
thank you.
Oh, wow,
Thank you,
so
Toby.
nice.
Because
Thank you.
Toby's the one that plays the piano.
But I just want to make that point is that's the formula for great shows. Again, like Pam and Jim on The Office.
Yeah.
It took them a long time, but you want them together. So I just kind of saw something endearing from Natalie to Mr. Monk. So, I don't know what's going to happen in the future episodes. I thought it was great.
Also, Monk's dead wife, Trudy, and Natalie has a dead husband. So,
Yeah.
I mean...
Oh, yeah, that's how they kind of introduced them is she's a widow and he's a widower.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they did that to connect them in that way, right? So they have that in common. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people read into that like, well, then why not?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I will say about kind of like the Jim and Pam thing or the Ross and Rachel thing is like, we know that Monk is so deep in love with Trudy from the get-go that he's so, like, that's why he gets the psychological discharge because of how much he loves her and how much she calmed his eccentricities and his, phobias and all these things down so that he was able to function better in society and as a police officer. So we know that Trudy is that centric to his life that it's really difficult to make anybody be with him or end up with him. To say, like, you know, a love story, like, oh, it'd be nice because you need a Jim and Pam or Ross and Rachel. But it's crazy how this show, if you watch from the beginning, it makes Trudy and Monk inseparable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that is the love story that's driving this forward, that makes you just be okay with the fact that he doesn't have anyone. You know what I mean? He has his assistants, and that's enough for us as the audience. You know, for most people, that's enough for them to be like, you know what, Monk is okay. He's okay. And Trudy, you know, him finding Trudy's killer, that is the love story that is driving the show. So, very interesting. We're digging deep. I really like this, guys. This is good stuff.
I don't like how, like, they do this in other episodes as well. Whenever Monk is at a crime scene, they, like, everyone next to him, besides, like, Natalie, basically, is all, like, embarrassed of Monk, right? They're standing there and they're looking like, oh my gosh, I hope that no one's, like, looking at me because I brought him here. And they even do this one, even when Stottlemyre completely drags Monk there, and then he gets there and he's like, everyone's looking at me. And same with, like, Randy. I just hate when they do that. They bring Monk, they make him come, and then act ashamed of him.
Yeah.
Milk, question mark?
Oh my gosh, Milk.
Ooh,
Milk
got milk.
has arrived.
Toby did fantastic.
Toby's is amazing.
Toby,
Ooh, that's a lot of milk right there.
Thank you, Toby.
Okay, thank you.
Toby does do some things right, people. Brownies and milk.
That's true.
I didn't understand why all the firefighters were watching him anyway. I thought that was just awkward.
When?
Like, let alone them being, like, embarrassed that all the firefighters from the place were just all staring at him while he was working. Like, I know it's, like, your guy's firehouse and stuff, but he's working. So, like, leave him alone.
It's just kind of rude, you know?
Yeah. Let's see. What did I not like? Okay, sad Monk. I feel like the stuff when he was blind, the physical comedy was a lot funnier whenever he was happy Monk. Like, you know, whenever he thinks that he can catch the guy, he thinks he's falling and stuff. Like, it's still, you know, a little bit sad with the undertone, but you knew that you were allowed to laugh and allowed to think that was funny.
Yeah.
When he was really sad at the beginning, like at the firehouse, when he's bumping into things and he gets caught in the tape and stuff, like, you know he's sad, so it's hard to be like, oh, that's funny. You're like, that's just sad, and they're kind of just watching him fumble. And so that was one thing that I didn't like. I could have used more happy Monk, because then all those physical comedy moments wouldn't have felt so, like, awkward to me.
You know what? I'll add, going back to Natalie. Maybe I'm a hopeless romantic. But I was thinking, you know, I kind of got the idea that his wife was very important to him. And that kind of drives the show. But one thing I didn't like, I felt like it's always putting Mr. Monk in a sad state. And I feel like every episode is about his poor wife. And so I'm hoping something rises to the occasion, Natalie, to help him along, to feel better. But overall, I have this sense that every episode, you know, his former wife is kind of a cornerstone of it. And it makes me sad for him. Yeah. That it's always constant. He had the pictures in his apartment. Yeah. Were reminded. So something I didn't like, but I understand that what drives him and what makes the show kind of go.
Yeah. Very good perspective once again. It's funny that you guys mentioned this, both of you, and I had the exact opposite. But I will say it was just one little scene. I put Stottlemyre seems a little annoyed by Monk, because y'all both said, oh, he's so caring, he's so caring. And I was like, that's weird, because I wrote he was annoyed, which I guess it's just this one scene when they're walking in to the station and he's about to feel the drifter's face, and Monk is using his stick, and Stottlemyre takes it and throws it. I feel like in that moment, he's annoyed that Monk is using the stick, even though he's trying to use it to walk. So I was like, it wasn't like Monk was doing anything inherently annoying. He just takes the stick and throws it. So I was like, that was weird. I have one more thing.
I don't have anything.
I have a lot. Sorry.
Okay, you want to go again? Okay.
Well, no, I get it. It's minor. This one's minor. You know, the first 60 seconds of the show, I'm kind of understanding what's this Monk show all about. And then out of nowhere, the villain comes in and then throws a bucket of something. And I was going, what was that? And I thought it was chili beans that went to his face. So one thing I did not like was the content of what they... And later they described it as
like
being...
a detergent.
Like a cleaning solvent.
Yeah, and I go, why is that bucket, there? But I thought it was chili beans. I mean, I guess it was hot. I'm like, what's going on here?
Okay.
For some reason, they could have made it a little bit more acidic,
Yeah.
So maybe for the prop department, they could have done a little better.
What did you think it was, Noah?
Chili beans.
No, you didn't.
Thank
joking.
you.
You didn't. That is hilarious. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And then y'all probably like, why would it burn his eyes like that and like make his eyes like that? Yeah.
No, but I thought it was really good acting from Tony.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You want to go again?
Sure. One thing, after that, he was able to kind of quickly kind of get going. And usually when you have something, let's say acidic go to your eyes, it takes like 20 minutes to really kind of get your feet wet. I feel like I understand it's a 45-minute show. They had to kind of speed it up, but I want it more realistic that it's almost where you see a lot of fight scenes in movies. They're going to hit 100 times, but they're able to get up. I think there's something about how quickly he was able to kind of get going. I imagine if you're
like right after the acid hits his eyes.
Yeah.
But
that would have been interesting.
But
to see
didn't
it.
Natalie? It didn't say though the passage of time for how long it took Natalie to find Mr. Monk. Like it wasn't right after he gets the acid in his eyes, is it? I thought he like is holding himself and he's leaning against the truck, and then it cuts, and then Natalie comes in later. And she's like, oh my gosh, Mr. Monk. And she finds him there. So I'm not sure that he did just bounce back up. But I'm not 100% sure.
Sure.
But yeah. Okay.
No, but that would have been interesting to see, like, as the episode went on, to be like, okay, his eyesight is getting worse and worse and worse. And that final shot is going to be less and less clear. But he still does make that. But then the doctor's like, okay, it's going to be slowly getting better. I feel like that would have been interesting.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Okay, I'll do my last thing. I thought Dr. Kroger was such a downer.
Yeah.
When he was in the therapist's office,
yeah.
He's like, it's a pendulum. That's how pendulums work. It's going to go up, but it's going to come crashing down. I just can't wrap my head around the fact that you're actually happy that you lost your eyesight.
Exactly. I was like, dude, you should be as supportive as possible.
You should be like, I'm a miracle worker. This man is cured.
Yeah. Even if you were, like, thinking that, why would you say that to your patient? You'd be like, oh, I'm so happy for you. You're finally happy.
Yeah, last time you were crying.
Yeah.
And you wanted to die, and now you're happy. We gotta fix that. Like, okay.
Yeah.
That was my last thing.
Okay.
I'll just throw one more. Yeah, I think just the way I look at shows, I want to feel like it's a realistic atmosphere, and like I'm in the scene in a way. But when they allowed him to go through the construction site, and I was thinking, they're going to let a blind person kind of go alone, and I feel like
that would be
they kind of made it
that
more
would be
realistic.
A plot hole. That's what we would put as a plot hole.
Okay,
So yeah,
I see, and so that's why it kind of rubbed me a little unease. That could that really happen? So
yeah.
I feel like they were creating something that's not realistic.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a plot hole. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Well, just give us one more.
Yeah.
Give us the one that you're scared to say.
No. Well, because you both explained it very well that Randy, they took it over the top this episode. So one thing I was just kind of like, he kind of plays like, I hate to say it, like he has like some cheap jokes. He plays that doofus role.
Yeah.
But it sounded like it's not typically like that. And maybe at the very beginning it wasn't like that. But at the end, he's still a funny character.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed him. But like, I was like, is he just, always like this? So.
Yeah, and we also have a theory, because people always say, like, Randy is such an idiot. How did he make his way to be a lieutenant?
Oh, yeah.
And we have a theory.
I thought you would say this for a plot hole, and then we would explain it.
Okay.
But our theory is that he was just such a suck-up, and he just completely sucked his way up until he made it to the police force.
And he is a good police officer. Mm-hmm. That's the thing, is that our other theory to go along with that is I'm sure he did great at the police academy, along with sucking up. He makes it through the academy. He's a good beat cop. He's going through his, sergeant, whatever, promotions, kissing up, but being a good cop. The problem is when Randy gets too much time to think, that's when he says stupid stuff. So if he's called to action, Like there's times where, when something happens to Stottlemyre, he's in charge and he's like, do this, and he's very competent, so you can see where the competence is, right?
Yeah.
But if he has too much time to think, which is what he's a detective basically, right? Lieutenant and then the captain. So he's right there in that sweet spot where he doesn't have responsibilities as much as the captain, but he also doesn't have to do the work that he's probably the best at, which is just getting stuff done, if that makes sense. So that's kind of our theory of how Randy got as high as he did and why he's so stupid. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we're good to move on?
Yeah. Ready? He's the guy. Okay, so I, per usual, don't have anyone for He's the Guy because I'm 12.
Okay.
Fair enough.
How many people do you have for He's the Guy?
I have 1, 2, 3.
Okay, you go first then.
Okay. Rusty. He is. Can I say?
Yeah,
he is.
We usually say like the actor's name,
Well,
what
that's
you know
the thing.
them from, and what you play. So.
Yeah, I don't know the actor's name. I wish I want to look him up on the IMDb.
Yeah.
But he is Bruce Willis' sidekick from Die Hard 2.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Oh, very interesting.
good one.
Yeah, and he looks the same almost. And that movie was in the 90s. And then I see Monk is far later.
Yeah,
But
2007.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So he is that gentleman. I could be wrong on this, but Mr. Mustache, the captain, I believe he played in Heat with Al Pacino as a cop, as one of his sidekicks.
Okay.
And I believe, I hate to say this, and that's why I felt like I'm so glad in this episode that he was very nice to Mr. Monk and helped along, but I think he is the bad guy in Silence of the Lambs.
He is.
Oh, am I right? Okay.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, but Heat, I think he's also in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of the things they've said so far, right? So it's funny just because, like, he notices people from, like, Disney Channel shows, Netflix shows, and stuff like that.
Disney Channel
And-
shows. Whoa.
No, yeah.
Disney Plus shows. The Mandalorian.
Okay. No, I'm talking, like, the last two were Wizards of Waverly Place. And
Well, you noticed that one.
No, I'm just saying.
She's trying to
guys,
insult my age, huh?
I'm not trying to insult you. You literally started by saying, I don't have anyone because I'm 12.
But the thing
She
is, we
noticed
need
it.
that.
Yeah.
We're older.
You noticed,
we have different
the kid
perspectives.
from Gotta Shake It Up or whatever?
Yeah.
Shake It Up,
Yeah,
remember?
shake it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shake it up.
Okay.
I'm not saying...
But you
I
noticed
recognize
Bob
her-
Duncan as well, and the kid.
I know, but what I'm just saying is that there's a middle ground. Like, you have a younger audience, middle, and then maybe like stuff from the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Okay, I'll go since I only have one. Peter Breen. I noticed him again. I was like, "Dang, it's probably from this episode." And so I had to look it up. But he's from Will and Grace, and I was like, "Oh, yep, he's from Will and Grace." So the actor's name is Jamie Kaler. He played Gary in Will and Grace for like 6 episodes, and he was Will's rival at the law firm. They kind of are one of those things where Will's trying to go for partner, and then this guy, like, they're kind of going after it. Both of them.
Which character? The therapist? No.
Sorry. Peter Breen is he was the bad
rich
guy.
guy.
The rich bad guy.
With the car.
He owns the construction
I feel like I've
place.
seen him before.
Yeah.
I didn't know where, but yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure he was in other stuff, but I didn't look it up. But yeah, he played Gary in Will and Grace. So,
But if I may, you are pros at this. I'm very appreciative of being the special guest. It's easy, but his former wife is from
The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jan.
I'm sure you name it, but I'm like, that's her.
Yeah,
I'm
Jan.
like, yes.
yeah,
She's great.
She's actually a recast. They had a different Trudy for the first 2 seasons. I think she comes in season 3. And I want to say that
There's another one.
that she booked Monk like right before she booked Jan. And so that's why it's funny because those 2 characters could not be more completely different people, but she had them at the same time, so it was interesting. So, yeah.
But I guess they have flashbacks, and that's why she's kind of in that role.
Yep.
So, okay.
That
It's
is
funny
correct.
that you recognize that just from like that one
From the picture.
picture whenever he's reading the book.
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest one that she's in. I don't know.
That's good.
Is that all you have?
Yep, I am done.
Junk time.
Okay. All right, so this is where we actually get to eat our snacks a little bit.
And Noah's favorite segment on the show. I say that every time. All right, Kandyce. What incredible questions do you... I know you're currently sticking a brownie in your mouth right now.
I don't know how compelling this question is, but... So out of the 5 senses, make a list of what you wouldn't want to lose the most from 5.
Ooh.
They're all, like, equal.
So, like, which sense would you be the most okay with losing? The first one, you're like, I can. Not like I can. Obviously, God forbid that would ever happen to anyone. But so, the first one.
Like the earthquake.
Wait, for our audience, can we name all 5?
Yeah, so okay. Sight. Can we, like, take turns? Sight.
Smell.
Audio. Hearing.
Audio? Who says that?
Sorry, we're in the studio. I'm in
Audio. Headphones. Microphone.
Feeling, touch.
And taste.
So, first thing I would not do. Well,
first thing I'd like to chop off.
Okay, I feel like touch might be the, like, because I like hearing. You know, who doesn't like hearing? Smelling. I mean, smelling's not, like, super important to me, but I like the waft things into my nose. But, like, not being able to feel pain, that'd be pretty nice, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so you're going...
Number one, feeling that can go.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want it to go, people. I'm just saying, it can go.
I'm gonna go smell, because I don't have a good sniffer. I usually smell, when something smells good, I'm like, ooh, what does that smell? And then they're like, oh, it's fresh baked brownies. I'm like, oh, okay, well. Or I'm like, what does that smell? And they're like, that's the garbage. I'm like, oh, yeah, it smells real bad. So my sniffer's kind of off. So I think I'd be okay.
You know what? I think my sense that is off is taste. Like, the brownies are great, but, like, not something that, oh, wow, I need that taste. So I think taste.
Really?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Taste is my next one.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys, what about touch?
Well, I'll tell you which rank that is. Go ahead.
Gosh. Okay, so first I had feeling, right? So next I'd have to go with smell, because those are, like, the 2 that I feel like wouldn't really matter. Like, you don't really need to communicate with other people, because that's, like, my number 1 thing right there.
Yeah,
communication. So yeah.
What I have smell and then taste.
I think smell.
Yeah.
Next, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My next would be feeling.
My next would actually have to be taste. Easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wait. What are our top 3?
Taste, smell, I guess touch.
Okay, then feeling, smell, taste.
And smell, taste, touch.
Okay, that's very confusing for someone listening.
But
at least we have different voices.
Yeah,
we
have very
at least we know
voices.
Sight and hearing are
most important.
Yeah, most important.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what would we like to lose the least?
Okay, I'm okay with hearing. I'd like to lose hearing instead of sight.
Yeah.
Because sign language, way easier than, like...
Yeah.
Walking around with a stick. Yeah. I definitely would never want to lose my sight.
Yeah.
I don't even understand the concept of people that wear glasses. I'm like, what do you see? They're like, I'm blind as a bat without my glasses. I'm like, that doesn't scare you?
It's just
like,
blurry.
You can't... It's just blurry? But, like, nothing is blurry unless it's very, very, very far away.
And are very, very close. Like, look at something.
Yeah, very close. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, basically, we all love our sight. And that this episode is a very good reminder. I have another question, because Q is actually from, well, I say from, he lives there, San Francisco.
Yeah.
So,
What?
like Monk. And so that's super cool and geeky for us that you actually live in San Francisco. So did you get any San Francisco vibes, or was it like, oh, that's LA?
I think when the episode started, I asked because I'm like, it's very sunny. Where I live, it's kind of cloudy because it's near the beach, San Francisco. So it gets a little bit cloudy most of the time. Like, is this LA? But one thing I did, the San Francisco Fire Department.
And like you said, the university or the
There was like
UCSF.
Yeah.
Which is close to where I work. So that's one of the top medical schools in the United States, UCSF.
Yeah.
And they showed, and I'm like, oh, this is really
cool.
Like, oh, there it is. I was like, I don't know what that is.
yeah. Very
That is
smart
cool.
doctors go there. Yeah.
So I've heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I've heard that San Francisco is like your dream city, and that's why you live there. So what is it about San Francisco that you love so much?
I love that, number of cities, but one thing about San Francisco is the people. And that's why people live there. Something about it, they always are very cautious of other people. It's very progressive. Mm-hmm. Silicon Valley's there for a reason. So it really is just the people. Yeah, very
That's interesting.
kind.
Not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
You sound
so
very chill right now.
what about the the streets? What about all those stairs in the streets?
You know what? They did so very hilly in the city, so they did a good job capturing that.
When are they gonna do something about all those hills? Did they say that at some? I think they say that at some point. They make that joke. When are they gonna do something about all those hills? I remember going to San Francisco though, and I was like, there is stairs on the street because of how steep it is. That's so crazy. It's probably, I think it's in the pilot where you see him. I'm sure they probably filmed the rest in LA. So, but you see him running around San Francisco and he's running up the stairs and down the stairs. Oh, and the big reward. And they jump on the trolley.
Oh, yeah.
And they're running up the stairs away from the guys and stuff. So, yeah. So, I mean, that would have been cool for maybe to see a little bit more of that kind of stuff. But you did notice the hospital. That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they do any episodes with the Golden Gate Bridge? And like in the background?
That's in the theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
the theme.
Okay.
Yeah, just the theme song. I don't think there is anything about that. I can't remember though. Honestly,
interesting.
I can only remember the past. I literally
don't-
have a blank slate for the future.
I don't feel like they love to stress that because they're not really there.
They
So
do
it's
say.
so they
I
don't
will.
really-
I have a question because I've heard a little plot hole or continuity error, I guess. But Stottlemyre, I've heard him pretty sure call it Frisco, and then one time when they go to Manhattan, the guy says, "How is it in Frisco?" or something, and he's like, "Our little town is called San Francisco," and so I was like, does anybody call it Frisco, or you've never heard that?
I'll be honest, I've never heard that. And usually people will just say SF, maybe.
Really?
Just-
Okay.
Yeah, but I've never heard of that. That's very odd.
Okay.
Frisco?
But,
Okay.
yeah. Never know.
Okay, so now I believe our little town's called San Francisco. So
Yeah.
all right. Okay, I could talk about San Francisco for a while, but let's move on.
But I appreciate the question.
Yeah.
Or do we have any more questions? That's it.
No, that's it.
Plot holes.
Okay.
Okay, I've got a few. Do you have any, Noah?
I hope he has some so I can disprove them.
Okay, he likes to. Do we have our transitions right? Are we being plot holed or are we?
Oh my
devolved?
gosh.
All right, so I'm gonna get it started off. Randy would never high five Monk. Do you remember when he says high five?
Yeah,
he's
that
blind?
was dumb. That
He-
was dumb. Oh, Randy.
They don't even shake. They don't even know not to shake his hand because he doesn't like germs. So why would you ever high five him? And he was blind, so he would never have high fived him in the
Yeah.
first place. So that's my first one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a great one. I got a little background from the show of he got kicked off the force, right? So one thing I wasn't sure of, maybe my misunderstanding is that how is he getting aid from the police force? Does he work for them
They
still?
pay him.
He is
okay.
on retainer, and
okay.
so before it was so long story short, before, like I said, the captain and Randy were against him. It was because Monk was so good that like the mayor would call him in for a case or whatever. Then him and the captain started becoming closer. The captain uses him as a consultant, as what they call him. I'm a police consultant, and then they're always having money issues because they're not constantly getting cases or whatever. So I think it was last season, a few episodes back, they said they're putting Monk on retainer and he's going to get 16 cases a year, like
2
guaranteed, which is a nod to getting 16 more episodes for 2 more years. So it's a nod to that, but it kind of, explains more like, how does he get paid? What does he do? So most of the time he's a police consultant, and then he's also on retainer for the SFPD. So
I see.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
There was a lot of blind errors, I feel like. He would still be able to feel stuff on his hands, right, when they're dirty. Like, just because he can't see what it is, he can still feel, grease. When he was, like, feeling around in the fire, right?
And he could still smell.
He could still smell the garbage in the alley. So, like, we literally just watched 2 episodes
Yeah.
ago, the garbage strike, and he couldn't
all he-
concentrate because of the stench of the garbage. And so you're like, 2 episodes later, he can't smell garbage.
Yeah.
So there's that. And also, he would have felt that his hard hat was crooked. Remember in the construction scene, his hard hat is crooked. When you put it on, you would know if it was crooked or not. Mm-hmm. So those were, I'm sure there was more, but those are my little blind ones.
Yeah, okay.
So.
I have one. One thing that caught me off guard is that there was a scene that Monk kind of cracked the case of the home with the fire.
Okay.
And you'll need a monk to solve that case that apparently the person that committed the fire used gasoline. Firemen have procedures and tests to declare how that fire was created. And if there was gasoline, they should be able to detect it and said, oh yeah, this is a homicide. There's a plot hole there.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
When he easily just could have set the trash can on fire with all the stuff in it and just left the cigar in there.
That's true. He tried to, make it look like that. Yeah, that's true. So when they're running around on the construction site and Monk is like walking through all these people and pushing him around, and he's trying to find the squeaky shoe guy, and then he finds him, and then they get cornered, and then they tackle each other and have an attack, and then Monk is running out there. There's no one anywhere. No one to be found. And then I'm like, well, just yell. Maybe there's somebody there. And he's like, help, help. And there's still nobody there. Yeah. And I'm like, where did all those people literally just go that were just there? So I thought that was a little off.
Oh, wait, I do have a plot hole, actually. Natalie notices, like, maybe 30 seconds after Monk is gone, that, oh, hey, Monk is gone. So blind Monk is faster than regular Natalie? Like, she takes forever
to find him, yeah. And I was debating on whether to put that because I was like, well, he was very adamant of like, Natalie, don't touch me. I'm good. I can do it now. So it makes sense how he does get lost because she's like, okay, fine, Mr. Monk, you can do it yourself. And then he wanders off. But I still feel like if you're his assistant and he's blind, you just walk behind him.
Yeah.
And that way you can see if he's going to bump into something. Why would you walk in front of your blind person you're supposed to be taking care of? So yeah. I will add that as the plot hole.
Yep.
Do you have anything else?
This is not really such a plot hole, but I'm very curious of... they don't explain, I know it's not the first episode, how's Natalie compensated? Who pays for her? Is it Monk? Is it the police
It's
force?
Monk.
Okay.
And that's a kind of a constant struggle because he's a very cheap man.
Interesting.
She's constantly saying like, you know, your check bounced again and like what's going on. So when he doesn't get a case, she doesn't get paid. But she knows that he needs her so much that she can't ever just like quit when her check bounces, you know. And like you said, she cares for him so much that it's like, okay, but you know, I still need to get paid, but she's still paying for things. Like there's times at the grocery store when he can't pay for all of his cleaning supplies and then she has to pay. And then he's like, Natalie, why don't you have any money? And she's like, why don't you have any money? So so he pays for his own assistant and the police pay him. So
Great, thank you.
I have, also nobody helped him off the ledge when he was yelling. There was guys walking by and he's saying, help, help. And they all just stared at the blind guy, like doing that.
Which I thought would have been funny was they're all just doing their own work with their headphones on, their little noise canceller, like headphones, right? I thought that would have been funny if they're all just doing work and he's like, help, help, help. And they're all just
or what if there was just like a in the Manhattan where there's like the jackhammer.
Oh
and
yeah,
he can't
every
talk.
time. Yeah,
he's like, I guess I just like that. Like they could have done that and say like help. Oh yeah. So do you have any more?
I do not.
Okay, I have one more, and I was trying to remember. This might be wrong, but in the coffee table, didn't just the horse burn in the coffee table?
Yeah.
Why didn't the entire key ring burn into the coffee table?
Yeah, just like the circle.
The circle and the horse would have burnt, but just there was just a horse.
Maybe the horse was like kind of out.
So like kind of like engraved at a different depth?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's a plot hole. I think it was supposed to be so Monk could feel that it was in the shape of a horse, but he still could have felt it was the shape of a horse even if there was a circle around it. So I feel like they the key didn't match the glass thing. So that's my last one.
We forgot the whole plot hole debunked thing again.
Yeah. We usually just get like one in. So.
Yeah.
But for the most part, have we been plot holed? We've been plot holed.
We've been plot holed.
Okay. How crazy was Monk this episode?
Plus crazy moments. Out of 10 Mr. Magoos is mine.
Okay.
I'm not sure this is right, but out of 10, blind stick?
Yeah. That's good. Yep, monk blind sticks, yep. I put out of 10 empathy masks.
Oh, that's good.
Where they're running into the, water cooler.
I think I might change that to out of 10 Mr. Magoo scales. Because he's like, I'm pretty much above or slightly below on the Mr. Magoo scale.
Magoo level.
Okay,
yeah. So out of 10 Magoo levels. I actually like that one. I like that one a lot. So I guess y'all go first. I have more, but I don't want to say stuff that y'all have, so go for it.
Okay, Monk thinks that his smoke alarms are more important than the fire.
Check. Got that one.
Okay.
He doesn't know if he's crying or not.
Oh, yeah.
Natalie,
he's like, am I crying?
No.
It feels like I'm crying.
No, Mr. Monk, you're not crying. Okay, feels like I'm crying. That was sad.
Most miserable man, of course. Trying to win that award.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I put he likes being blind. That's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You already said mine.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
Dang it, I'm sorry. Did I mess up both of them? Okay, he feels the second guy's face.
Oh.
Which isn't crazy in itself, but the guy's a bad guy. So it's not like he had anybody.
He knew it was a bad guy.
Nah,
he was like squeaky shoes.
Yeah, he knew it was him. And then so they're face to face and he's like rubbing all up on his face. I'm like, okay, he could kill you right now.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of crazy. He doesn't want Natalie to help him. Thought that was a little crazy that he's walking around the construction site and doesn't want someone to help him, but whatever. And then my last thing is he thinks Natalie's flying.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay, out of 10 Mr. Magoo levels, Monk was a 3 out of 10 on my crazy scale. Because I feel like he took the whole, I'm blind thing pretty well.
And the times he didn't take it well, he was blind, so give him a break.
Exactly.
I put out of 10 empathy masks, I gave him a 2. 2 out of 10 empathy masks.
All right, what about you, Q?
I'll give him a 5.
Okay.
I think he has his normal traits and is also above excessive traits.
Yeah. Okay. So we got 5 blind sticks, 2 empathy masks, and 3 Magoo levels.
Magoo levels. All right. Rate this episode. Okay. So what would you guys rate this episode?
My scale's a little different. Okay. Because I'm such a huge fan of Monk. No episode deserves less than a 10. Okay, so the lowest is a 10, the highest is 2 10s. So Noah will have a conversion chart for you after I'm done. Okay. And I also have like a little spiel where I kind of say what I thought my overall thoughts of the episode were. Mm-hmm. So I'll go first. I still really like the episode, but just the underlying tone of the fact that he's lost his sight makes the funny things still really sad. Also, the mystery I feel like was pretty lacking, which you kind of touched on, that they didn't need Monk to solve this case. It was more about him being blind more so than the mystery, which was a little disappointing. But the fact that Monk is still able to solve it by being blind is impressive. So I gave this episode a 10.8. Yeah.
Okay, I gave this episode 10.8. As you can see here, 10.8 equals 8 out of 10. Okay, I would rate this episode a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Close to mine.
So if I understand this rating, I can go beyond 11?
No. You can do whatever.
It's 10?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Just, my scale is 10 is the lowest. So basically, like, if it was a 1, it'd be like 10.1.
Right.
And then if it was a perfect score, it'd get 2 10s.
Okay.
So you
you
can do whatever you want. You can't go negative.
Whatever your PhD heart desires.
Here's the thing. I like the episode. It was my first experience with Monk. So I will give it above 10. Maybe a 10.3. If that's okay.
Okay. Which doesn't really make sense.
So if you if you convert it to my scale, that would be a 3 out of 10. So if you want to give it over a 10, then you could just
like a 10.5, 10.6.
Just give it like a 13.
Wow.
So
Candyce made this very confusing.
Okay, hang on. Let's just scratch my scale. Okay. Let's just act like we're normal people on the planet.
But then they're gonna be like, "Where's your?"
Okay, wait. Yeah. I'll just get. Mine's an 8 out of 10. There you go.
No, but it's...
Yours is a 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
Or 7
mine's
out of
a
10.
7 out of 10. There you
Mine's
go.
an 8 out of 10.
Well, now, rate this episode is going to seem like the worst thing ever.
What do you mean?
Candyce, just say the things.
But I want him to be able to have a good
I think I can do a conversion. I mean, a 10.5.
Okay, so 5 out of 10. Okay, wait. So
No. The reason
are you doing
why,
a normal? Are you doing it like above?
I'm doing essentially, if I did the conversion right, 5 out of 10 because I hate to say
So it's just 5 out of
you
10.
both swayed it to be more negative, meaning that the case didn't really need him. He was kind of off this episode, so I feel like I didn't get the full experience of Monk. So that's why I'm kind of middle road, even though I enjoyed the episode. There was good, funny moments.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so then you really did give a 5 out of 10.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 5 out of 10. Right?
Yeah.
That's right. Now that we've confused you all so much, I guess we're good.
Oh my God.
Anybody,
Okay.
final thoughts? Anything?
We're already...
So okay, I guess. If somebody forced you, would you watch another Monk episode?
I would.
Yay!
And that is all we need to know, really
Yay,
and
that's
truly.
good. That's
Okay.
awesome.
All right. So thank you so much, Q, for coming on our show. You are actually our first guest host ever that Noah and I have had. So this was really fun.
We've had 2 monumental episodes. We had our first bonus episode, and our first special guest episode.
Yeah. That's awesome.
If I might say, I really appreciate for inviting me in your studio. If I ever back in town, since I do live in San Francisco, I'll be very appreciative to be joined in the next chance I get. Thank you so much for this invite.
All right. You heard it here. So there's proof. And we'll see you guys.
He has to do it next time.
Has to. Must. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Signing off, it's the Junk Gang.
Yeah, that's not going to stick. All right.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Junk Monk Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so please give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, follow us at Junk Monk Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
If you want to know more about Kandyce, she's at Hardens and Hardhats on Instagram. And if you want to know more about me, Noah L., subscribe to my vlog, Noah Hernandez, on YouTube. Also, you can leave us a voicemail at 323-366-0477 with your questions, comments, or just to show us some love.
Don't forget to catch up on Monk with Amazon Prime Video, and of course, subscribe to our show.
You'll thank me later.